Like my new background? This is how I live right here. It's how I live. So, everyone always talks about racism. They're doing it because R. Kelly's black. It was a white dude, and they were even saying in a documentary, they were saying, if R. Kelly was doing this to white teenage girls, he would have been arrested, the police were doing it, but they don't care about a young black girl. Let me just say, this is where the controversy is going to start, and people are going to have problems with me, obviously, is, I don't know if that's 100% true. I don't see it. Let me say this. Racism exists. I hate racism. I'm not racist at all. If people that know me, there's not a racist bone in my body. My kids, my family, we have Asian people in our family, we have black people in our family, Latinos in our family, white people in our family. We have every race you could possibly think of in our family. We have gay people. We have gay uncles, lesbian aunts. We have everything possible. And I grew up in a society, in a family that was very, very diverse, and racism didn't exist for me. Have I experienced racism? Yes, I actually have. I was with all my friends one time. We was driving back from Reno. All my friends, Mexican. Yeah, Mexican. None of them were Nicoyan or Salvadorian. All Mexicans. We stopped in some redneck white boy city somewhere to stop and eat. My friend Mario goes up and goes, "Let me get a table." How long's the wait? Well, 15 minutes. How many of them are you? 6. Remember, I'm the only white dude there. There's 5 Latinos. What's your name? Mario. Okay. We waited. 15 minutes passed. Half hour passed. 45 minutes passed. People coming in, getting tables. It didn't look crowded either, so made me start thinking. So I go up there. I need a table for 6. Brian. Oh, we got a table for you right now. Oh, but the Barrio's in front of me. Don't worry about it. We'll give you the table. Straight to my face. But then when my friends walked up with me, she saw that all my friends are Latino, all Mexicans. She just saw the look in her face. So to me, that was a racist experience that I had. Was it directed towards me? And there's statements that people make that really annoy me. I don't like when they say privileged. Oh, white privilege, white privilege. You know what? I'm from San Francisco. Like I told you about my family. I don't see it, man. I know there's racism out there. I know there's people out there that are racist. I know that. I've seen it. I've dealt with it. I grew up in the projects, and it was kind of a reverse racism thing on me. Oh, who's this white boy here living in the projects? Who this white boy hanging out here in the streets? Why can't we just be people? I live in a project just like you. You're my neighbor. I didn't think anything about color or race or anything like that. All I thought about was, is this dude cool to hang out with? But I think racism, I'm not going to have any filter on this show. I think racism and race still exists because of the people that project it. People that keep bringing it up, keep talking about it, keep bringing it to people's attention, keep saying this. Like, there was a story a few years ago. 3 black women or 4 black women, I don't remember, were on the wine train in Napa. They were told multiple times to keep it down. They didn't. The conductor kicked them off the train. And what did they cry? Oh, it's because we're black. No, it's because you're fucking loud. If you'd have listened to the guy and shut the fuck up, They wouldn't have kicked you off the train at all. But what I mean by that, me telling this story about that is they brought it to the table. The guy kicked them off because they were noisy. They were drunk, they were noisy, they were obnoxious. It wasn't because they were black. And they didn't even know the conductor was married to a black woman. They just projected it, they just assumed it, and they brought it to the table. You see all these social media posts, white privilege, white boy this. It's okay for a black person, a Latino person, an Asian person to talk about white people. 100% okay. But as soon as a white person talks about a black person, Asian person, a Latino person, he's racist. You can't say that. You can't do that. So I feel that racism does exist, 100%. I'm not saying it doesn't. Like I said, I experienced it. I dealt with it myself being white in a predominantly black Latino neighborhood. I was the minority in that sense. But I think an issue is people bring it to the table too much. People will use that excuse and make it the forefront of an argument. Make it if half these people didn't say anything, then it'd probably not even be an issue. Like those ladies I just told you about got kicked off the train. First thing they did was, it's because we're black women. No, because you're allowed. Shut up. And they didn't even know that the conductor that kicked them off was married to a black woman. So he's not racist. But yet they projected it and made it a racist story. So what I'm saying is, it's kind of I can't say I understand what the ancestors, the African American community went through. I can't say what I don't know, and how bad slavery was from what we learned in history books and TV and radio and all that stuff. Horrible time of our life, but I can't sit there and tell you to forget about it because it's part of your culture, part of your heritage, part of your, but there's a time where you must move on from it. It's like when someone cheats on you in a relationship, you're never going to forget about it. You're never going to trust them again kind of thing. But you need to move on from it. You can't hold that grudge, that lifelong grudge, that lifelong hatred for a woman that cheated on you or a guy that cheated on you. Same thing with this racist thing. You can't hold on to it forever. You need to release it. Let it go. Live your life the best way you know how. And just be who you are. You can't make everything racist. You can't say, I got a ticket because I'm black. I got a ticket because I'm a Latino. You can't say that stuff because that's bringing it to the forefront. Now everyone's looking at it that way. Everyone's like, oh, well, maybe he's right. No, if you don't say it, just say this. I got pulled over because I was speeding. And living in the projects and dressing like I did before, I was visually, how do I say this? I was visually hated on. When I walked in with my jersey, hat backwards, the saggy jeans, all that stuff, I walked in the store. They thought I was still being white or black. They thought I was going to steal. He's from the projects. Look how he dresses. I didn't let that bother me. I just went about my business, pulled out my money from my job that I had, and paid for what I did, what I was there for. I never projected it. I never said, oh, you hating on me, man. You racist because I'm dressed this way. I felt it. I knew it. But I didn't let it consume me. When you let something consume you for such a long time, it builds up inside of you, and it's just going to become a big, big knot, and it's full of hate. And I'm not saying that slavery should be forgotten about. Definitely shouldn't be forgotten about. But it definitely should be released. it should be not talked about so much. It should just be something that people kind of you just kind of need to let go of. Can't hold grudges for hundreds of years. You know, my cousin just died a few weeks ago. Tragic accident, 49 years old. He was here at my house 2 weeks before, like a week before his accident. Got in a car wreck, died. And it opened my eyes a little bit. It opened my eyes more than my mother's death. In the sense that you can't hold grudges forever. Because, you know, what if I was mad at my cousin? And the last thing I said was, fuck you. He drives away, dies. And it also made me realize that life is too short. And you'll never know when you're going to die. So you can't hold grudges. And like I said, I got to repeat myself. Because I know this show is kind of just me talking. But I want to get this point across. I'm not saying forget about slavery. Horrible thing. Horrible thing in life. And I don't understand we praise George Washington when he was one of the biggest slave owners back in the day, but yet he's on the dollar bill. He's our first president, and we love him. The guy was a racist. He owned slaves. We shouldn't forget about it. But maybe we should release it and not hold that grudge against all people, all white people, or all Latino people, or all black people. You just can't do it. Hey, man, when I was younger, living here in the city, I had to tag. Remember graffiti was a big thing? Tag on buses and all that stuff. I was the only white dude around. There was a couple other ones, but I was the only white dude around. I used to get jumped by Samoans all the time. I was afraid to go to 24th and Michigan because that's where they hung out. But I didn't hold on to that. It doesn't make me hate. It doesn't make me project hatred on all Samoans. Just that's not who I was. That's not who I was. That's not who I am. That's not the way I was raised. And I just think that when something happens to an African American, a Latino, or Asian, or whatever the race may be, when something happens to them and they bring it to the forefront, oh, it's because I was Latino. It's because I was black. It happened. Maybe, I don't know. This is just me thinking out loud here. Like I said, this show. I think if you didn't bring that up, maybe it wouldn't be an issue. And if it is the reason why, that person has to live with himself for the rest of their life. You didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't change who you are. But just don't. Bottom line is, in the racist world, just you got to release and let it go, man. Don't forget it. Learn from our mistakes. If you don't learn the past, you're doomed to repeat it in the future, right? That's true. But you just got to live your life the best way you know how. And maybe the best way is not with so much grudge and so much hate. You understand what I'm saying? You just can't go like that. Like I said, I grew up in the most diverse family in San Francisco in the world. I don't know if that's true, but I'm just saying it is. Lesbian aunts, gay uncles, uncles that did drag. I have nieces that are half black, half Filipino, half white. I have white people in our family. I have Nicoyan in our family. We have everything. I'm part Mexican and Filipino, but I look like a white boy. I was very fortunate and lucky. And I made that a point with my youngest son when I was married to my first wife. She's Mexican and Salvadorian. I know I'm Mexican and Filipino. I don't know what my dad was. He was adopted. Obviously, he looks white. That's where the name Bauske comes from, because he was adopted by the Bauske family. I made it a point that to teach him, doesn't matter, fat, tall, skinny, male, female, black, white, Chinese. It doesn't matter. We are all the same underneath. We all have our stories. We all have our lives. From the age when my ex-wife went back to work, he was about 4 to 6 months old. Until he was from